Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Kevin from the Thrifting Lounge,
Hey, this is Josh from the Thrifting Lounge.
and we got Ryan and Jay from Scavenger Life, formerly of eBay Scavengers. And
Hey,
we definitely want to introduce them and have them take a few minutes before we start the interview to do whatever they got to do. Let us know basically how they got into it, what they do and stuff like that. So here you guys go.
our turn?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. So what, do you just want to talk about how we got started or what?
Yeah, let's for the first couple minutes, let's talk about like how you started and how you got involved in thrifting and scavenging.
Okay. Here's the quick story. So we were living in San Francisco and we were working in like the tech industry. Basically, we were making videos for web companies. In about 2008, we started feeling like things were getting weird. Like there was less work. It was kind of before the whole crash happened.
It was right before the crash happened.
And I don't know if we were just lucky or we had good instincts, but we were like, we better kind of.
Well, San Francisco was so expensive, and we were thinking we wanted to buy a house eventually, and it was so crazy. We were just like, there's no way we can afford this.
And it just seemed crazy that they were. Anyway, it was a weird time, so we decided to move across the country to the East Coast, and my family had like a little cabin in the woods, and we decided to go and kind of go there. And so I remember driving across the country,
Yep.
and gas prices were getting
We're
more
going up
and
as
more
we were driving
expensive.
across.
And that's when all the news started happening, and so by the time we got to this cabin in the woods, kind of shit had hit the fan. Sorry, I don't know if I can cuss or not, but
Yeah, it's the internet. You can cuss all you want.
and so it was a big deal for us. So we were still struggling to get work, and I remember we loved to go to thrift stores, and we were at a thrift store, and I was like, look, there's this members only jacket. This is cool. I bet someone in Brooklyn would buy this.
Yep.
And Ryan was like, well, let's try and sell it on eBay. I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, so we had like a pile of like 15 things that we tried to sell, and basically what we would do was we would say, okay, if a 30% of the items that we tried to sell each week, then we'll keep doing it. And it did. Things kept selling. So we were like, okay, let's get higher and higher goals. So at first we wanted to buy like a Vitamix blender. And then we were like, well, let's try to pay our internet bills with the money every
Why don't we
month.
try and pay our cell phone bills?
Yeah,
And then
like,
we would just set different goals, and we just learned that it was a numbers game. That
Yeah.
the more we put online, the more we made. So we just spent more and more time from our other work to eBay
yeah.
until eBay, it took us about 18 months when we finally started paying all of our bills with our eBay store.
And then we were like, well, let's not take any other tech work. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
Because we love not having a boss.
Yeah. And then about
That's
probably.
the best part right there is no bosses.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't
Right.
go to an office. Don't have a boss.
Yeah. And we had already kind of had our own company, so we didn't work for really other people,
Right.
except we always had to get work from them, so we
Right.
kind of had a boss, but not
We
really.
had clients.
But eBay really is like, it's really the greatest feeling of not having any kind of boss at all.
I mean, your customers, you have customers that you are responsible to, but it's a lot different than having to report to a client or go to an office.
So that's our story.
Josh, want to take the first question? I'm just trying to figure out because someone said we had an echo, and now they said we're all clear. So.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So now that you pay your bills full time, how much do you make? How much do you average, I guess, per month selling and scavenging?
Okay.
We probably make between $6,000 to $9,000 a month, gross.
Yeah,
That's
before
Wow.
fees.
it's before fees and
Sure.
Yeah.
purchasing the inventory and all that stuff. Gas, all that.
I mean, our goal is like during Christmas we make like $10,000 a month. That's always the goal, is to make 10,000, but we don't always hit that number.
Right. So,
Right.
so we always say a good quick math is like, you know, eBay and PayPal take about 17% of profits, and then, you know,
Yeah.
then another 10 or 15% go to inventory costs and just the cost of doing its business, and you know, so.
Right.
But ultimately, we make enough to pay all of our bills and live a, you know, we're frugal people, but we're very comfortable.
Excellent.
Now, how much? Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
How much do you
do
pay taxes?
Can you say that again? How much what?
How much do you guys plan on take when you guys each item you sell for like taxes and stuff like that?
Like, so how much do we make on each item on average, you mean?
No, I mean like how much do you put aside for like taxes on each item, or do you do it in like bulk, like you go through like your monthly statement and then you put that money aside, or do you do it on each item?
So okay,
I'm not confusing for myself.
sure, yeah. So for those people who are hearing this, I mean, now we're going into some like some hardcore eBay stuff. So we had to finally learn to do our taxes, and that was like a big deal. It's for us, and we got Outright, or I guess it's called GoDaddy Bookkeeping,
yeah.
and that really helps us kind of like figure out how much we're making every month, and they help you know how much to pull aside, and we pay the quarterly taxes, and so we take out a percentage of our income every
month, yeah, not item by item,
and then pay the IRS every quarter.
If we're good.
Do you sell a lot in Virginia? Do you sell a lot of stuff online in Virginia?
Not really. I mean, honestly, mostly we sell to like the West Coast and New York.
Okay.
And the Midwest. I mean, it's varied, but yeah, not very much local at all.
Right.
All right. I'll field the next question. And then what were some of your earlier setbacks when you guys were learning how to thrift and sell? What were some early stumbling blocks for you?
One thing that I really made huge mistakes on, which is a lot of beginners do this, is shipping. Not weighing your items or not weighing them properly, and then having them either mailed back to you because you owe postage, or have your buyer owe postage, is horrible. And that happened several times to me in the beginning, and then I was like, I just need to get a digital scale. I don't know what I'm waiting for. You know, they can be expensive if you get, you know, like a 500-pound digital scale, but whatever, it's like $50, and it like saved my life. So that was one thing that I was having trouble with.
I think the other thing too was we started off by selling clothes and shoes.
Yeah.
And we just didn't know, and we were buying a lot of junky stuff.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think about it now, and I'm kind of embarrassed of the kind of stuff we sold in the early days.
We sold it for very little, but...
Yeah, I mean, like, we were selling things for under $20, you know, $10, and things that had holes in them, or shoes that had too many scuffs, and we weren't describing them properly, so people would mail them back, and we were, you know, all those things. But the good thing was that we learned very quickly. And that's why people complain about eBay and the feedback, but really all that stuff is there to be pain points, you know?
Yeah.
So if we get a negative, we wouldn't like rage at eBay. We would be like,
what did we do wrong?
We got to change something.
Yeah.
And we would, and we'd get better at it.
Like, I used to not even put the color of an item in the description. Right. Which is like the most insane thing to me now, because, you know, some people are like, is this black or navy blue? I can't tell because of my monitor, you know, and like in the old days, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't just tell people what the color was, you know. So now, obviously, I do that obsessively.
Yeah, I've never gotten a negative for anybody else's fault but my own.
Yes,
sure.
Yes.
Knock on wood, I've yet to get a negative. So.
Oh,
wow. Good for you.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I do the returns. I mean, since we're talking about this, I mean, we should just jump into returns real quick. I do returns on everything, and I know people charge a restocking fee, and I say, you know, instead of getting hit with a negative, I return everything. I mean, I have a Burberry. You know how you guys sold your Burberry trench coat a few months back? I
Yep.
have the same one, but it's like a military with the gun flap right here that I've sold 3 different times for $200 each time. And every time it comes back to me because it's just like the chest is just too big for the person, or the arm length is too small, and no problem, send it back. And every time I get positive feedback from them, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to do it, and we learned the same thing. In the early days, I would always try and convince people to keep it. I'd try and, I felt like I had to not take returns, and we just learned very quickly just to take back
a return
anything.
For any reason.
Any reason at all. If they're unhappy, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, it will lose a little bit of money.
But a little, I mean, such a little amount of money. And, you know, we work with people. If they're like, I like it, but it's damaged a little bit more than I thought, then we're like, okay, let's figure out a thing if you want to keep it, you know?
And I don't know about you guys, but it's for us, having those battles with customers would take a real psychic toll on us. I mean, it could ruin an entire week because we'd just be fighting about it, and we just our stomachs would feel so bad waiting for the next message from them, and we just learned we're just buying our happiness by taking a return, and it might cost us $5.
It's just and plus Absolutely. If it's a good item like your Burberry jacket, it's gonna sell again.
Yeah.
And it'll sell to the right person eventually, you know, so it's not a big deal.
I actually I upped it this time because I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm just because you guys did it, and for the trench coat, I think you guys got what, $600 or $700 for it?
$700. Yeah.
$700.
Because you guys just guessed, and you're like, oh, let me just throw it out there. I remember listening to that podcast, and I'm like, all right, you know, I've been selling it for $200 each time, asking $300, accepting $200. Let me just throw it out there for $400, and maybe I will get the $300 I try to get each time that I haven't gotten yet. So I have 4 watches on it right now. It's going pretty good, but plus I just don't think it's the right time of year right now for it. It's a heavy jacket.
Yeah, although I did sell a heavy wool jacket today and a sweater, and it's July, so I don't really know what's going on.
Did that go international or domestic?
No, it's domestic. It was in the Midwest. So weird.
I sold snowboarding pants yesterday.
See, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just people shop when people shop.
They shop all the time. Yep. All year round.
The magic of the internet.
I mean, we have a blog at scavengerlife.com, and we, talk on there a lot, and people are always asking, do I list holiday stuff at holiday and then take it down, and then winter stuff and take it down? And we're just list it and forget it,
Yeah, people buy stuff all the time.
Because you just can't tell, and, people from Australia buy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, instead of wasting time trying to beat the market or whatever, just focus on listing. Just listing, and nothing else but listing. And that's it. And it works.
Yeah. Let's talk about Scavenger Life. It used to be eBay Scavengers. Everybody knows you guys as eBay Scavengers.
Right.
You had something go on. I don't know if you could explain it to us, or I don't know.
Sure.
Okay.
It's not very complicated. Yeah. For some reason, we got just kind of a form email from eBay, and they said that we aren't allowed to have a URL that has eBay in the title, and that we were infringing on their trademark. So we said, okay. So we got a URL, and
we just changed our name.
Yeah.
It was not a big deal. I mean, it was more technical than anything, like switching the blog over to a new URL, and
yeah,
that was the pain.
It was kind of a pain in the ass, but when we started the blog, we didn't really think about that kind of stuff, and we never really thought we'd be popular enough for eBay to
to come ask us to
be worried
stop
about
it. Yeah.
To be on their radar.
That's now let's talk about what you guys actually do, on a week-to-week basis or a daily schedule. Because I know some people out there, including me, they sit around or they'll check out Craigslist and they'll look for the yard sales. And I know, Ryanne, you do a lot of just sitting back, taking pictures and listing a lot of items.
Yep. That's what I did all day today. I just sat on the couch with the laptop and I listed.
So we like to work as a team, and I really give it up to people who work alone, because I can imagine it's a lot of details to handle. But
Yeah.
as a team, I take all the photos, so I clean everything and I photograph and I write a description of everything and measure it, and we use Google Docs that we share. And then Ryan will actually list it and put it on eBay. So every day we try and each do about 20 items, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, we don't do that every day, but that's our goal. And yeah, that's how we do it. And we believe in big inventories. So we're always telling new people, like, if you want this to be a full-time job, you need to have at least 500 items in a store to actually
have
start
stuff selling every single day,
Right.
basically.
Yep.
How many do you average? How many pieces in your store do you average?
We have 3,500 items in our store right now.
Okay.
So we are trying to I'm trying to maintain that number. I would love to get up to like 5,000 items, but stuff sells all the time, which is a good problem to have. But
Sure.
it's hard to get up there when you're selling and going. Like, we went away for 3.5 weeks, and then your inventory goes down when you sell like that. So.
Right.
Now, I see you guys always go on vacation. So I absolutely loved your podcast. You guys were giving updates. I think you guys went over to Holland, was it?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if you guys. I think you said that there was like they don't thrift over there or something like that. When you go across the pond, what makes it different over there? And was it hard for you to find stuff and source stuff from there? And definitely just how did you keep your store running from in a different country?
So there's a couple of questions in there. So number one is, we do take a lot of trips. I mean, part of us wanting to sell on eBay was we wanted to own our own time, and we didn't want to have those kind of jobs where you only have 2 weeks of vacation every a year, and then you're tied to a desk the rest of the time. We like to be able to go places whenever we want, and a lot of times we go and visit friends, and or a family, and we turn these trips into a thrifting hunts, you know? So we love to do that. So like, yeah, we went to Holland last September, and it seems like in other countries, like in Europe, that idea of thrifting just isn't as ingrained as it is here in America. And I think that's its reasons. One, these countries are smaller, so there's a smaller population, and they just don't have as much abundance, as much waste as we do.
Like in Amsterdam, we were staying in Amsterdam. I mean, they have the most tiny apartments. Like, I mean, so in cities in the U.S., we have tiny apartments too. But like, you know, in America, I mean, like we were talking earlier, someone's parents have like a 5,000 square foot house and it's filled with stuff. Like,
Yeah.
It's not really like that in Europe. Like, people don't have huge houses.
I think also
like that.
too, just Americans are we're a very open people, and we're very, and we like to share. So it's strange, but Americans don't mind giving away stuff.
Yeah,
And I
donating
feel
stuff.
like in some other countries, they aren't just going to take a $100 pair of shoes and just give them away.
Yeah,
So-
and also, like, other cultures don't have, like, a yard sale culture.
Right.
Like, if you go to New York on a Saturday, people have stoop sales and, like, little yard sales and stuff. But in Amsterdam, that would probably never happen. Like, they just don't have that culture of, like, hanging out and, like, selling all your personal items on the street. Like,
Right.
they just do not think that that is a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
All right, we have a question from Sam Zaki. He wants to know, how do you guys store your inventory?
Sure. So
Yes, that's a good question.
So it's, you know, everything we've done has evolved. So we started out, we had one tiny room, and that was our eBay room, and that's where we stored everything. We took our pictures and listed, and then we quickly outgrew that, and then we had like a shed that we took over, and so, you know, it's been, about 6-year process. And so in the meantime, we bought a house, and we purposely bought a house that had a lot of storage.
A second building, basically.
So we have like a second building out back that is an office and has a huge storage area. And then because we live out in the country, we have, a couple acres of land, and anyone who lives out in the country knows if you need more room,
you just build a shed.
You just build a shed.
Yeah.
So we have about 3 outdoor sheds where we store hard goods.
And they actually existed before. We just retrofitted them to be more storage.
Right. So that's
pretty
one.
Soon American Pickers are going to come knocking on your door.
Yeah.
I don't think they can afford you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So
okay.
that's how we do it, and then the way we organize is, clothes are organized on racks, and then hard goods or like little antique items are in bins that are labeled.
And you know what? No one could find anything in our store. It's a very personal organizing system, but we know where everything is, and that's the most important thing.
We can find an item. We have 3,500 listed items in under 5 minutes. If you can't, that's a problem. Like, you haven't organized it properly. If in under 5 minutes you can't find it.
And I think this is a good question, because storage is really the key, the thing that separates people that just have an eBay hobby versus people that have an eBay business.
Right.
Yeah, I live in Florida, so I used to live up in Massachusetts, where everybody up there has basements. You don't have them down here in Florida, so I have my inventory in my closet, my son's closet, my other son's closet, my hallway closet, right behind me, and I'm starting to get like, all right, I think I might have to go get a storage unit or something, because I just have so much stuff, and it's like it's time to get a new store. Do something about it. You know what I mean?
Yep. We hear from a lot of people that they get overwhelmed because their eBay store becomes their home. It's everywhere. And we've had moments where it's been like that, but now we have a pretty fine line, it's not a fine line. We have a hard line where our home is our home, and we don't want eBay stuff everywhere. And we find that that's good for like mental health.
Yeah, because our house gets really cluttered, and then we start feeling like hoarders where we can't like invite people over for dinner and stuff. So it's just like.
So I do encourage you getting a big storage. Get like a 10 by 12 space, and it's worth the.
It's worth the money.
$100 a month or.
We rent a storage space for unlisted items.
And then just take it off on taxes. It's a write-off.
Yeah, that's always good too. Now I have another question from Sam. He wants to know how many items a month you guys sell.
We sell about, in the slow times like right now, we sell about 180 items a month. When it's hot and heavy, come Christmas time, we can sell upwards of 300 items.
And you guys pack it all up yourselves, huh?
Yeah, I pack and ship it all.
She packs
everything.
I
love it. I love doing that. It's like it symbolizes money. I'm just like, I sold this. I do not have a problem packing and shipping.
I married a packing nerd, so
yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome. That's my favorite time of the week, is usually Monday, because I'm packing up a bunch of stuff from the weekend sales, and it's nice. It does feel good.
Yep.
I think it is weird, and I'd love to hear what other people think, but people who are new, it's pretty overwhelming to learn the whole packing and shipping and USPS, all the postage rates, and it's a lot, It's not.
There's a curve, for sure.
It's not so easy.
Yeah.
I got another question from Darlene. She has a question for you guys. How far do you guys travel to thrift or buy or source?
Europe.
Such a good question. So we live in the country, and so we have about 120-mile radius where we know where all the spots are, and when we just feel like we need a day off, we'll jump in the truck, and we just kind of do a big circle and hit all of our spots. And that's about how far we go.
I think about 100-mile radius is a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in a 10-mile, it's a 50-mile radius where I live. I think I'm a little bit lucky. Last weekend we had 300 yard sales just in a 10-mile radius.
What?
Wow.
Man.
I live in an area where it's a lot of old people, but I tell you, man, these people have no problem moving you out of the way when you're there trying to. They'll cane you, they'll do whatever you can.
Elbows.
I'm not kidding you, it's crazy over here. But we do find a lot of good stuff.
Regarding what Kevin just said and something you guys said earlier, I just wanted to add to that. There's a lot of people that are new that are on our page, or maybe they're older sellers too, and they get very discouraged and they say, I can't find anything and I can't sell anything. And the problem, I think it's a perspective problem, honestly. I think there's so much stuff out there to buy and to sell that if you can't, you just haven't looked maybe in the right direction, you haven't looked with the right eyes, you need to put a different filter on something. But there's such an abundance of basically the way I boil it down is we sell other people's old shit, right?
Exactly.
And so there's so much stuff out there of people casting away old stuff that you almost have to be dead to not make money at this job.
Yeah, that's what we always say too, is you really have to expand the categories you're thinking of selling in. And you can really just do experiments, you know, if you're like, well, I haven't tried selling shoes. Okay, go get some shoes that look like shoes you would buy, that you like, that you think are interesting. That's just how we've always expanded our store, is just taking chances and doing experiments on random stuff. And you learn fast.
I think, too, that, you know, we are typical of a lot of new eBay sellers. We started out just going to thrift stores, and probably for a year, we were just going to, like, Goodwill and Salvation Army, and we did a pretty good business. But I think you start to realize that there's a limit to what you can buy and sell out of those places.
Stores, yeah.
And I think even in the past 6-8 years, they're really getting shopped. Those stores are getting hip, and their
prices are going a lot higher.
They're raising their prices. So I always tell it's new people, you got to go to the places where other people aren't going to. So that's why yard sales are great. Estate sales, we love to go to estate sales.
Auctions.
Auctions are great. And, you know, I mean, those are all, you know,
flea markets.
Flea markets are my favorite.
Yes.
And if you live in a city, we've been doing this too. Anytime we go to an urban area, if you go on Craigslist, there's a free section. And people are just giving stuff away. Like, they're too lazy to take it somewhere, and they just want you to come pick it up.
To give it away. Yeah.
So again, we always tell people to be creative, and honestly, that's why our blog is called Scavenger Life, because it's all about being a scavenger
and finding the things that no one else thinks is valuable. So, you know, when you go to Goodwill and you're like, oh, look at this awesome designer pair of shoes. Yeah, they're $50 because Goodwill knows how much they are. But at the estate sale, they might be $2. You know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which category represents the most of your revenue?
That's interesting.
It kind of changes in different times of year, and it changes based on the stuff we're kind of in love with at the time, because we're putting a lot of stuff up. So right now we've been selling a lot of art, and we love it, because if you go to thrift stores or yard sales or flea markets, there's always those like that artwork, that kind of artwork in the corner that everyone ignores. And we've been going through it, and you can find stuff, even if it's unsigned, that will sell for it's $50 or $100, and that's lately been our biggest seller.
And for us, finding that kind of stuff is a lot of us finding stuff that we think is cool. It's not necessarily just like someone might buy this random print. It's like, you just have to go with your gut on what you think is interesting.
And that's the other thing, is that, you know, we've been doing this since 2008, so it feels like it's been a long time, 6-8 years or so. It would be so boring if we just sold shoes. And I know some people do that. They like to specialize. To us, we have to keep it interesting. So we're always trying to find new things to buy and sell, because we get to research it and learn about it.
It's more fun.
We kind of meet a new group of people, and that's what makes it fun for us.
We're getting like so many questions right now. It's crazy. But I want to touch on something right now. I know, Ryan, you do a lot of the artwork. You saw a lot of the artwork. For someone like me, I've picked a few of art pieces up. Like, I think one or two of them are painted on board, not real paintings, just prints. I have the one behind me. It's really cool. The colors like aren't faded or anything. It looks really old. Now, if I wanted to package that up and sell it, how would you package it up yourself, or do you go to like a pack?
Yeah. I have been packaging a lot of the artwork myself, mostly because it's cheaper to do it that way. And I actually made a video about it. It's on our blog of how to pack delicate artwork. And basically, the idea is you want to do like a shell around it. And what I do is, like the piece that I'm looking at that you have, I would wrap it in bubble wrap. And then I would take some, like, the post office would hate this, but priority mail boxes and wrap them around there. And I think Jay's getting the link to the video that he can give you.
Yeah.
And so then I would, so that's the internal shell, and then you would pad out the, you know, the outside of it, and then pack that in another box. So you're basically double boxing it. And I've never had a single problem with a piece of artwork, whether it had glass or not. Sometimes for paintings you want to do it that way too, because you don't want the canvas to get messed up. So.
And that's the other cool thing, is that we like to find things that are difficult to pack and ship, because other people don't want to buy it because it is difficult, so we can normally get it at a good deal. So,
and no one else likes to sell that stuff on eBay, so you're a rare person if you are willing to pack and ship that.
Yeah.
That's my secret bomb right there. My secret thing that I sell that I always buy is tape players, cassette tape players. Nobody buys and sells cassette tape players. Well, people do, but you know, that's not very around Las Vegas where I live. They're always cassette players at Goodwill or anywhere I go, yard sales, and I buy them up. Anytime I find them for a good price, I buy them because they sell within a week of me listing.
Are they Walkmans or boom boxes, or both?
All of them. Walkmans, boom boxes. Boom boxes, the old 80s Brooklyn style boom boxes, they go for insane money.
Hundreds of dollars,
Hundreds of dollars. And you can find that at some little old granny's yard sale for usually $1 or $2.
Yep, we found those.
The ones that do the best for me are the Walkmans, the Walkman Digitals, and the dual cassette where you can record and you can go. I don't know why everybody's going back to cassettes, but dead tech is huge.
Yes, vintage. We find that vintage electronics and vintage, you know, technology is. I mean, we just picked up 3. They're like the Panasonic Slimline tape recorders, and that is. I grew up with those, making like pretend radio stations, because little kids love those. They just press record, they press rewind, they press play, and they listen to themselves back instantly, you know, like it's so fun.
I always thought I wanted to be a DJ, so I would do that for myself to try to record my voice and see if I sounded good on the radio. But anyway, so that's sorry.
I think that's what we talk about, because, you know, we love to sell kind of older vintage, a one-of-a-kind stuff, and it's versus the people that love to sell like brand new stuff that they buy wholesale. Right. And the reason why we like it is because what you really are selling people is like a memory. People are buying this stuff because they think of their childhood, or they think of their parents, and you know, that's why it's valuable to people. And that's what we have to think about when we go and scavenge. That it may look like junk, but you have to think about what eyes people are going to have on it, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah.
It's fun that you talk about the like old, like vintage, you know, electronics, stuff like that, because you guys had an awesome podcast a while back where you talked about the old photographs, the Polaroids and stuff like that, and just the vintage photos that people absolutely buy up, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, we kind of stumbled on that by accident. We found all these old photographs that were being thrown away, and
they were slides, 35mm slides.
And it kind of broke our heart, because it was like someone's family history was just being put in the trash, and we grabbed them not knowing they would be worth anything. and it turned out that they were. And I guess people like to have that because it's used in either art projects or yeah. And so, you know, that's good. So that makes us feel good because we kind of saved a piece of history and made some money on it.
It's funny with things like that because I come from an art background. I went to art college, so I know what we used to use. We used to pick up, you know, old Super 8 millimeter out of the trash all the time. So we were like, this is the most amazing thing ever. So, you know, selling slides to me makes total sense. Sometimes it's weird, like when you sell like a bunch of Polaroids, though, you're like, why? What is someone going to do with this? But I don't know. It's cool.
I think that's something, too, that keeps us interested in doing this day after day is that we kind of challenge ourselves, like, what can we sell that we don't think will sell, you know? And
almost anything.
Do you guys ever find things that, like, sometimes buyers can be really challenging with you guys? I know you guys had a few just where people have hit you with negative feedback without even telling you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you sell on eBay long enough, you're going to get just a cranky person who's angry at the world, you know? And I think we've had to learn that it's not directed really at us. They're angry at their wife or their husband or they're unhappy in their life.
And there's no way for us to fix it. Even if you're like, I'll give you a refund, I'll do anything.
Yeah, and we just
Doesn't
got
matter.
caught in its crossfire. And, you know, when we talk to people who are new selling on eBay, we always tell them, just remember the bigger picture. You're trying to build a store. This is one sale. You know, don't fight the person. Just give them their money back and just be done with it, you know?
Yeah.
Accept the bad feedback and just
go on with your day.
Keep going.
I've actually heard lately, I've had a lot of people in my group tell me that, you know, oh, I just got dinged with a negative feedback that didn't even tell me. And then come to find out they'll call up eBay, and eBay actually will wipe it off for their
It depends on the situation, but yeah, they will do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the phone to eBay.
I call almost every day.
Yeah, almost every day, just to ask about something, and sometimes they're helpful, sometimes they aren't. But
and if they're not, you call back and try to get someone else.
But you know, eBay's there to work. It's for all of us, you know. And they're making money from us, and they should be helping us. And so pick up that phone anytime there's
I never, ever hesitate. I have them on, like, my favorites on my phone. Like, I call so much just to be like, can I resolve this? Can I fix this? Okay, let me just ask their advice, you know.
I've got a question for you guys regarding what you guys pick and what you guys scavenge. If you could say that there was like one thing that you never walk past, like you walk past it and you always pick it up no matter the price, is there some one thing like that? And is there one thing that you walk by and you never pick up because you can't sell it?
See, Jay's going to go pick something up right now from our piles. Oh, yes.
So we always buy these like enameled cast iron, like Danish pots.
Yeah.
Show the shop.
A Dansk. It's like mid-century.
This is a gorgeous piece of cookware.
Yeah.
It's a Dansk.
It's a piece of art. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I never ever pass that stuff up unless it's too expensive. Sometimes people want too much for them, but you know that's mid-century modern cookware. I always buy that stuff. It always sells. It sells like crazy.
Yeah.
How'd you guys research this stuff? Like, I mean, if one is looking to do exactly how you guys started and everything, how did you guys research?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of it is trying to sell something, you know, and seeing if it sells. But the second thing is we look at eBay completed listings.
I mean, I think
it's that simple.
I bet you guys are the same way. I mean, I think number one, it's got to be in your blood. Like, you have to be the kind of person that just loves to look at trash and junk, and you get excited by that, you know? And I think we've always been like that. And then we just started to trust our gut. We started to grab the things that just seemed interesting to us, and we would bring it home and do the research. And like Ryan said, eBay completed items is the best thing because it shows you what the market is going to pay.
So this is like a strainer. It's like this colander made in Italy. It was just at this estate sale in this woman's kitchen, and it was greasy. It was disgusting, and I was like, that is so amazing. I don't know what the brand is. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to sell it for a lot of money. So, you know, I've never heard of this brand, but it doesn't matter. It's just cool.
So I just think a lot of it is just being interested in things, you know, and being interested in the history of things, and that's kind of how it works.
I remember I started out by buying bread makers. You know, I saw bread makers one day. Someone had bread makers and made good money, and I bought one. I sold it, and I think the guy paid like $30 to ship it to him. So
it's heavy.
Yeah, and then I started doing Afghans. I tell you, I think that's like my huge niche. I love buying, you know, Granny Square, Chevron Afghans. Just
wow.
Color
They sell like crazy.
Yeah, and they sell for big money.
Yep.
How much?
Oh, normally I will sell them. I'll put them up there for like 60, 70. And I'll take.
Your highest one was like 70, wasn't it?
Yeah, my highest one so far has been 70. I have one up there right now that's been sitting there at 120. But some of the threads undone, like it needs to be finished, and everybody I've talked to won't touch it. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to sell it. I'm going to disclose it and let them know, you know, the threads need to be finished. And I've had a few watches on it, and it's really cool because it's like a 4th of July, red, white, and blue with a huge granny square in the middle. And it's been sitting there. I had it for 120. I just reduced it to about $90 right now. It fits about a queen-size bed. But I love selling the Afghans, especially the ones that look exactly like the ones that was on Roseanne's back couch they used to have.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Quick flips, like seriously. Like I'll pick them up for $4, $5, $6. Sometimes I got 3 of them for free when I went to that thrift shop. He threw 3 of the Afghans for free, and I'm like, all right, I'll sell them each for probably about $40 to $60 all day.
Yep.
And what are they made out of mostly? Are they acrylic or wool?
Yeah, mostly acrylic because I find that it's very hard to find the wool because a lot of people are allergic to the wool and they refuse to buy the wool ones. So it's better to have the acrylic ones. And there's tests you can do to tell if it's it's called like a burn test. You take a fabric and you burn it, and if it smells like a certain way, it's wool, and if it's like balls up into like plastic, it's acrylic. That's how you tell.
Right.
I don't take the whole thing and light it because that thing's going to light up. You just got to get a pile-in shaver and then just do it that way and try it. But I tell you, it's fun, and to me it's like an artwork. I think that's really my passion's gone too. That and clothing.
Yeah, we love blankets and Afghans. I also go crazy over those because people love them.
Yeah, and they're easy sells.
Do you ever do the big giant stuffed animals?
We've never done that.
Yeah.
We've done one teddy bear.
A plush toys.
One teddy bear.
Yeah, that's. I mean, there's some things that we just don't get excited about. You know, I think about buying and selling plush toys.
Unless it's truly vintage. Like if I found a real like early 1900s teddy bear, I'd grab that thing up. But other than that, that's not something I'm interested in.
So here's something we'll share with you guys. I think, you know, eBay's like a big game, and making its money is like a game. That's how we kind of take it. And so right now our game is, how do we find things that are going to sell for more than just $30? So our thing now is like, how do we find things that are going to sell for $100? You know, and that makes scavenging much more difficult. It's like a real, you know, and so that's where we're at right now. So we're really trying to limit the stuff we buy, and the stuff we do sell, we want it to make more, because really that's the only thing we don't have enough of, and that's time. We can have all the storage we want, you know, all that stuff, but time is a hard thing. So it takes as long to list a $10 item as a $100 item. Yep. So that's what we're trying to get to, where we list not as much, but we make the same amount of money.
Exactly.
Now, what would you say your average on an item is per month? This last month, I would say, since it was a little slow last month.
So if you go to our blog, eBay Scavenger,
Scavenger Life.
I knew it.
Don't forget.
Yeah.
We changed our name.
Every week we actually put our numbers up, where we tell you how much money we made, how many items we sold,
and the average price.
The average price, how much we paid for those items. So right now, I think we're hovering at around $40 or so per item sold.
Average, yeah.
Average.
Yeah. One week it was like 80 something, and we were like, whoa.
But really, it's about $40.
Yeah.
I also had a question. I know you guys do a lot of talking about Amazon. I don't think you guys. Do you guys do Amazon or no?
No.
I mean, we tried an experiment with books about 6 months ago, and we sold some. But honestly, again, it's about time. We don't have time to sell on multiple platforms, and I really feel like you just pick one and you just do it full force.
Yeah.
And that's what works. It's for us. We like eBay. It works for us, and that's what we stick with.
Have you guys ever gotten any policy violation alerts? That's a question from Resale Rookie.
Yes. we
Absolutely.
have. On some military items, if you say you'll ship them internationally, they get weird about that, even if it seems really like not a big deal, like certain clothing items.
Yeah, and a gas mask I tried to sell. It's one of those.
Like a vintage gas mask. They were like, you can still use this, so they'll take it down.
Or like a medical stuff. There's
Yeah.
some medical stuff that you can't sell, and honestly, we don't really stress about it. We just throw anything up, and then if they tell us we can't sell that thing, then we take it down.
Then we don't sell it.
And it's
so,
all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a question, Josh?
Oh, I probably did. I probably have a lot of questions. But, when you guys are out picking, do you go as a team or do you split up? Do you just go and just swarm?
Yeah, like at the flea market, we'll go together, but we'll split up at the flea market because he doesn't want to wait for me, I don't want to wait for him, and we'll just meet up at the end, or we'll text each other and be like, come look at this thing, But if we're at a thrift store, I mean, we're pretty much together, and we'll split up and come back together and check each other's items and stuff.
I mean, I think that's the other thing about this kind of a lifestyle. I mean, we do this each and every day. It's our full-time job. And we do it because we want to be together, like we like each other, and it's like we're friends, and we have fun. I mean, that's part of the fun is like let's hop in the truck and let's go somewhere new, let's go to an auction, and it's kind of exciting, and that's the kind of benefit of having this kind of life versus getting a job that has supposedly some security and benefits,
Yeah, it's funny you talk about you guys enjoying it because I've actually the last few months I've really enjoyed it because my girlfriend's actually gotten a little bit more involved in it. Like most of the times on the weekend I'll work all week and then on the weekends I'll just sit back and we'll relax, and it's usually her saying, hey, you want to go to the Goodwill or do you want to go to the yard sales? And I'm like, sure, why not? And she'll be sniping on the phone. She'll go look at these local mommy groups because we have like 1,000 in our area, and she'll be like, hey Kevin, look at this, and I'll look at it and I'll be like, awesome. Again, I wouldn't have seen it if she didn't catch it, you know what I mean? But it's really fun having like your significant other involved in loving it. And I know you guys talk about that a lot on your podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. I know we would not be where we are now if we didn't work together.
Yeah, we couldn't get the numbers that we.
I mean, number one, because there's two of us, so we can do it's more work. But also, it's just I understand that eBay it's a drain, and it can get overwhelming, and there's a million details to always keep track of, and sometimes you're just like, I just can't do this anymore, and so it's good to have someone else to kind of give you a different perspective on it,
right?
And
split the work. I mean, mostly it's all about splitting the work. You know, the fact that Jay took photos all day today while I just sat around and listed. I mean, that's awesome.
Yep.
That is awesome. My wife and I really enjoy when we're in our office because that's what our eBay room is, the office, and we'll sit in here with the baby and he'll play on the ground and we'll throw him a couple of toys and he just plays and she'll list and I'll sort, and I'm always bagging clothes up because I use Ziplocs, and I'm always bagging clothes, and she's up on the desk listed, and it's actually really cool because it seems like it wouldn't be good family time, but it's actually awesome family time. because it gets us in one room at the same time.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good to hear.
I mean, we don't have kids, but I think if we did, and I know other eBay sellers that do have kids. I think it's the best skill to teach a kid is to teach them
No, work for yourself.
how to sell on eBay. Like I wish I'd
Reliance.
known how to do this when I was 19 years old. You know.
Yeah.
My 7-year-old always says to me, "You want to go to Goodwill?" And I'm like, "Dude, I go to Goodwill." She goes to her own little section. She goes, looks at the teddy bears, and she'll come up to me. "Can we get this?" It's like 50 cents a doll. I'm like, "Whatever, grab it. I don't care." But she does. She knows. She talks to me sometimes about clothing labels. She'll say, "Oh, is that a good?" She goes, "Is that a Ralph Lauren or is that a Polo?" or something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, all right."
Even Dominic gets excited.
Yeah, even my son, my 2-year-old son, gets excited too when we go. Like he'll grab. Yeah, he'll go like he even talk. He just started talking, so he's like Goodwill and. We'll be,
It's first words, right?
yeah, right, almost. But it is fun though. Like if you can get your whole family involved in it, it's really. I don't like to call it a job because I think a job's something you do where it's like 9 to 5 and you hate your boss, you know. And I think it's really fun, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we agree.
I think kids are good too because kids are kind of they know the pulse of what's really popular with kids and what sells, you know.
Sure.
And you look at what their friends are wearing and you look at what their friends are doing, and it seems to be like a good insight into the child mind as to what they might like, you know, and what their parents might be buying at that time.
Yep.
All right.
That's very true.
We have like 9 minutes left, so I want to get into a couple serious questions.
Okay.
Guys, what's Ryan's first, and then Jay? What is your guys' favorite find, and then how much did it sell for?
Oh, my favorite find. I'm really bad at this stuff because everything just feels like a blur when they ask me.
How about that camera?
Okay, so one really, really amazing find was we were bidding at an auction for a box lot. So some people who go to auctions know that they put a bunch of junk in boxes, and you just buy the whole box no matter what's inside. And there was a fancy quilt on top, which is what everyone was bidding for. But underneath there was what's called a Rolleiflex camera, which is an old-fashioned medium format camera. Film camera that they go for, you know, between $1,000 and $1,500 on eBay, easy. So we were bidding against this guy to get this box, and I think we paid $130 for the box. Everyone's like, "Oh, they paid a lot for that quilt," and I'm like, "No, no, no." So what we did was we actually took it to get repaired to make sure it was in full working order, because a lot of people asked for that. So I think we paid $100 to get it fully working, but we sold it for $1,000. So that was a huge, one of our biggest sales, I think. That might have been one of our biggest sales. And it was cool that we found it under a bunch of junk that no one else had noticed it.
And then I guess it's my favorite, and these are mainly just because we made so much kids' money from them, is that Ryan bought a necklace for $3.
Yes.
And it was Bakelite, and I didn't know what Bakelite was. It's that kind of orange Bakelite.
Well, it's different colors, but
Amber.
This one was a butterscotch Bakelite.
Butterscotch.
Go look it up on eBay. You'll see.
And I was like, that's crazy. Like, and she was just like, this is so valuable. I was like, you're crazy. So she put it on auction, which we normally
never do
put anything on auction. We love buy it now, and it sold for $1,300. And
Nice.
We couldn't believe it. I was like, if I get $200, I'll be so psyched. A week later, we made $1,300. I was like, okay, I'm always gonna get that.
But for new people out there, though, our business is built on $30 items. You know, it's bread.
So those are the exciting, fun, crazy ones.
It's bread and butter. You know.
That's rare.
Awesome. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. Now, you guys do, because I always hear people say, you know, I do 30-day listings because if you do good till cancel, you know, your items tend to drop off in the listings. How do you guys feel about that? Because I still do good till cancel on almost everything.
We do good till cancel on everything. I was trying 30-day auctions, but I didn't know how to auto relist them, so I was having to relist them myself, which is 3,500 items. That's way too much work. So.
It's so cheap to a list on eBay that we just list it and forget it, So we don't try and game the system, and those people who say if you end them and list them, no one's actually given me scientific proof that works. I feel like it's a wives' tale, and I don't think eBay, a billion-dollar company, would have such a simplistic algorithm that you could trick it so easily,
Yeah, I mean, good till canceled. That's the way for me to go. List it and forget it.
Yep.
Since I've been hearing a lot of people, in the last month and a half, they've been super slow, and some people have been doing really good, but it seemed, and I had trouble too when I first had the eBay breach, or whatever you want to call it. And, did your sales drop off, or did you see a drop off or anything?
I didn't see a drop off after that whole security breach thing at all, actually. I was worried about it. But what happens normally is the summer is kind of slow. We've been making good sales, but not many sales. So actually, we just did a podcast about that 2 weeks ago, where we said, look, there's nothing wrong with your stores. There's nothing wrong with eBay. It's just summer is slow.
Yeah, and I think it's new people. They might start to sell during the holiday season when it's crazy. It's crazy for everyone.
So much money.
And it's like heaven. And then the summertime comes, and they're like, why isn't it like the Christmas time?
Yeah.
But they don't think like a retailer. I mean, all of us are retailers. It's slow everywhere. It's slow at the AutoZone. It's slow at Walmart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's slow across the board in summertime. So now's the time to list.
For the holidays.
Because you want to go into September and October with a full store. So that's why now's the time to list everything.
Yeah.
Winter clothes, Christmas stuff,
everything.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter what it is.
All right, so it's 9:56. We'll wrap up. I definitely want to go over, eBay, ScavengerLife.com, formerly eBay Scavengers. I'm sure that's how a lot of people know you by. But you guys recently had to change your name. Definitely check out their YouTube channel and their podcast they do weekly. You guys are up to how many episodes now?
I think we just hit 131.
131.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And I do a weekly show with Golden Finger Picker, Hearts Motors. It's called the what is it called? Sorry, the Resellers Meet and Greet. We're a mixture of eBay and Amazon. In the next couple of weeks, if you guys are able to come on, it's on I think Wednesday nights around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It's just a bunch of us, 9, 10 of us, just hanging out, talking live, and answering questions. And last week we got up to, I think, 80 viewers or 90 viewers. We had a lot of people on last week. Yeah, we had people, Gil Money on. We had Picking Profits on. It's a total mixture of everything. And I know that we love to pick your guys' brains because you guys are a world full of knowledge.
Well, thanks.
Cool.
Yeah, it sounds like all those stars.
I know, that's
in that
quite
mix.
a...
Gil Daddy and Picking Profits is like all the YouTube stars.
Yeah.
I know, the interweb stars. They're big names.
Yeah.
But again, thank you guys for coming on, and stay with us for a few extra seconds. I'm going to stop the broadcast.
Sure.
Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.